Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X research and professional physicist. And today I'd like to bring to you another one of my articles. This one is entitled Noctilucent Clouds and Planet X Debris in the Earth's Atmosphere. Now, noctilucent clouds are defined as luminescent clouds which form at very high altitudes, namely above 50 miles or 80 kilometers, and can only be observed after the sun has sunk below the horizon. They reportedly form due to the presence of micrometeor dust or directly from water vapor because of the very low temperatures at such high altitudes. They are reportedly made out of ice crystals. And you see in this photograph some of these clouds that form at these high altitudes, and you can see that they emit light. It's not very bright light, that's why they're only seen after the sun has gone down, but nevertheless they do emit light. Now, the fact that these clouds are luminescent means that they emit light. Luminescent, the word luminescent refers to the emission of light due to the excitation of atoms. An excited atom is an atom with outer electrons that have moved to higher energy levels. Excited atoms eventually go back to their lowest energy state and emit a photon as a result. The same thing would occur if an ion captures an electron. Light emission or the emission of a photon is the result. So noctilucent clouds do not reflect light from the sun. They actually emit light. The question then needs to be asked, how can an ice crystal emit light? What is the process? Ice is made of water. What caused the water molecules to become excited so that they can then go back to their ground state and emit light? The answer is that there is no mechanism that can cause ice, which is simply frozen water, to become excited so that it emits light. The idea that micrometeor dust is involved in the appearance of such clouds is most likely correct, but this is not normal micrometeor dust. This is most likely micrometeor dust that is depleted in electrons, so that when the clouds form around the dust, the water becomes depleted in electrons too. Then as the water captures electrons, it emits photons. Normal micrometeor dust is not likely to be depleted in electrons. However, stellar core matter is known to be depleted in electrons, and it is therefore most likely stellar core microdust or stellar core debris entering the atmosphere that would be able to produce these types of clouds. The evidence for the presence of stellar cores in the solar system is overwhelming, and we see some of these here in this image. It's an SDO image in 171 angstroms, and we have this one. This is a solid object, a spherical object. As you can see, it's dark, it's making a plasma connection with the sun. This is one of the stellar cores that are present in the sun's corona. Here's another one. This one is covered in plasma, but you can still see the clearly outline around it, which is clearly due to a spherical object being in the sun's corona. But this one is covered in an atmosphere which it has absorbed from the sun. So it's been most likely with the sun much longer than this one. This one is most likely a recent arrival. It has not had the time to absorb enough plasma from the sun to develop an atmosphere from which it can emit light. Now here we see another one of these objects, clearly a very large spherical object seen within CME material coming off the sun. Obviously very close to the sun, so we can do a size comparison. This object is about the same size as the sun. What allows such a large object to be so close to the sun without a disastrous collision occurring is the fact that it is made out of particles with very low levels of photon or gravitational energy inside them, which then results in the object having an extremely low gravitational influence. And you may look at article 210 entitled Stellar Core Gravity Tidal, and G is not constant, for more details on that. So it cannot be the gravitational interaction that brings stellar cores into the solar system and to the sun's corona. It is actually the electrostatic interaction. And the reason why they are attracted to the sun is because they act like super ions. In other words, they are depleted in electrons. And this is illustrated here. A stellar core does not have an outer negative layer like normal celestial objects do, like the sun has, like planet Earth has. It has a neutral outer layer. It still has a positive core. So it acts like a super ion, which an ion is an atom that has the protons in the nucleus that makes the nucleus positive. So it's like the core being positive, but it's missing a few electrons. So it is more positive rather than neutral. So a stellar core acts like a super ion. It's basically a positively charged object, which is then electrostatically attracted to the sun's outer negative layer. And this is therefore what brings them to the sun. So this means that stellar cores are depleted in electrons. They are like super ions. Now, in addition, stellar cores shed material when they arrive at the sun's corona. And this could be seen with the blue stellar core, which was photographed through a telescope in the sun's corona. You can see it here. It had stripes, and this photograph is from May of 2017, and this one is from July. In the ensuing time, the object lost a lot of its stripes, of the material that made up the stripes. So we can see that these objects shed material and thus create debris in the inner solar system. This debris is likely to be in different sizes, from planetary size to microdust sized. It is likely that this dust started getting to Earth and entering the atmosphere as soon as the stellar core started arriving in the solar system, and that this led to the formation of clouds around the debris, but these clouds were formed from water which became depleted in electrons due to being in contact with the stellar core debris and were thus able to emit visible light. The process is simple. The stellar core dust absorbs electrons from the water molecules through being in contact with them, and thus the water molecules forming the cloud around the dust become depleted themselves. So when the water absorbs electrons, it emits light. Now, the fact that these clouds were not observed until 1850 indicates that this is about the time that the Planet X system of stellar cores started arriving in the solar system. If these clouds had been produced by normal meteor dust, they would have been observed for hundreds or thousands of years before that time. It is also impossible for the Planet X system to have been here for thousands of years, as then we would have not had a sun by now, and the Earth would also not be likely to be able to support life now either. Thus, the sudden appearance of Noctilucent clouds correlates well with the idea that they are a direct consequence of the presence of the Planet X system of stellar cores in the solar system, which started arriving about 170 years ago. Recently, an effort has been made to claim that rockets produce Noctilucent clouds. But rockets have been launched since the 1960s and have never produced luminescent clouds until recently. So if rockets are being used to produce Noctilucent clouds, then they are doing so through an artificial mechanism that can only have one aim in mind, and that is the covering up of what is going on in the Earth's atmosphere and in the solar system. It is therefore likely that rocket launches are precisely timed with the entrance of stellar core debris into the Earth's atmosphere in order to hide the presence of this type of debris in the Earth's atmosphere, which then leads to the formation of luminescent or Noctilucent clouds, which also seem to now be forming at altitudes lower than 50 miles. And you may look at article 271 entitled Planet X Debris Entering the Atmosphere. In conclusion, noctilucent clouds are clouds that emit light and cannot thus be made out of water condensing around neutral dust. The entrance of stellar core debris, which is depleted in electrons, into the Earth's atmosphere would lead to the formation of luminescent clouds in the Earth's atmosphere and can thus explain the appearance of noctilucent or luminescent clouds in the atmosphere. This is Dr. Claudia Albers, Planet X physicist. Thank you for watching.